time for some obscure, well, sort of obscure, toy lines from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Mighty Max, 1992. Mighty Max was a series of toys that were manufactured by Bluebird Toys. They were very similar to the earlier Polly Pocket toy line. The toy lines consisted mainly of Doom Zones and Horror Heads. Doom Zones and Horror Heads were small playsets with a horror theme and featured miniature figurines of menacing creatures and the titular hero, Mighty Max. Horror Head playsets were in the shape of creatures and contained miniature figures. It was later adapted to a TV series as well as a tie-in video game produced by Ocean Software. Introduced in 1977 and popular through the 80s and being reintroduced today, fashion plates encouraged girls to explore their artistic side while they imagined new clothing ideas, just like the professionals. TOMY's version of the fashion plates simplified the process and utilized more plastic pieces than the professionals, but the concept was the same. Choosing from a large variety of indented plates that contained drawings of various fashion items. After placing a piece of paper over the base, you glided a black crayon over it, which would create an image of your fashion statement. G.I. Joe Extreme, 1995. The title logo was reminiscent of the original G.I. Joe logo from the 60s and 70s, but the 3 3/4 inch scale was discarded in favor of a new 5-inch scale, which allowed for a greater level of detail, especially in the facial and muscular features. Joes were released in 2 versions, regular and deluxe. The deluxe version of the figures, which were advertised as featuring Ultra Slam firepower, came packaged with a backpack accessory that was connected to the Joe via a tube. The toy line was criticized by collectors and was discontinued after Wave 1. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Kenner, 1991. To coincide with the release of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in the summer of 1991, Kenner put together a series of Bill and Ted action figures based on the movie Excellent Adventure. These action figures were set up so that if you squeezed the characters' legs together, they would play the various instruments and they could hold a note. Characters included Bill, Ted, Rufus, Genghis Khan, Billy the Kid, Abraham Lincoln, and Death. On the back of the blister pack, they showed Napoleon, but he was never actually made. 4x4 Stompers, 1980 to 87, Schaper Toys and TYCO Toy Company. Stompers were driven by a single motor that turned both axles. They were the first battery-powered electric true 4WD toys. These toys were battery-powered vehicles that ran on a single AA battery and featured 4-wheel drive and working headlights. The company was also involved in a lawsuit, which was later settled when LJN started selling a very similar model. Not a whole lot for X-Men Projectors by TOYBIZ in 1992. It was one of their more limited release lines for X-Men toys, which they had a lot that year. It coincided with the TV show, and basically all I can give you is that the song was rockin'. If you have any more information on the X-Men Projectors, please leave it down in the comments. This music is still awesome. I should put it up louder. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Subterranean Sewer Hockey, Remco, 1991. The first board game we're going to look at, and hopefully not the last. I'm looking for recommendations now, guys, of old board games. This is Subterranean Sewer Hockey from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hard to find a lot of information. What I've gathered is it features 2 complete teams, 12 players, Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, Genghis Frog, Casey Jones, a Foot Soldier, the Rat King, Bebop, Leatherhead, Shredder, and Rocksteady. And boy do I wish I owned one. Flipsiders, Milton Bradley, 1987. Flipsiders were audio cassette-shaped flip-out magnet board games introduced by Milton Bradley in 1987. The initial 87 release included their products, which consisted of 6 games: Checkered Flag, Rock Tour, Chopper Chase, Mall Madness, Dragon Master, and Scavenger's Gold. Subsequent games in the series included Ghostly Estate, Rocket Race, Prom Date, Slumber Party, Danger Dive, and Alien Assault. Manglores, Ideal Toy Company, 1984. Manglores were an action toy line that you could hatch out of an egg. It was promoted as having the ability to be squished, stretched, and you could tear it apart and put it back together almost like new. The toy company had to change their slogan to almost like new because when the toy line first came out in '84, a review was done in the newspaper and they tore the toy apart and couldn't get it back together and had major complaints. The toy line made a short comeback in 2013 when Toyfinity tried to resurrect it. And that's going to do it for another obscure toy line, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't seen a toy line yet that you really loved as a child, let me know down in the comments and I'll try and get to it really soon. Don't know what to watch next? Why not watch me go around the States and buy stuff at thrift shops? Or click on one of these videos on the left. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great week, and I'll see you in a few days.